What's up, everybody? You're very welcome to a special reaction show here after Liverpool defeated Manchester United by 3 goals to 1. Look, my guest today needs no introduction. I'm very pleased that he's taken the time out of his busy day to come over and have a chat with us. Mark from the United stand, how are you, Mr. Goldbridge?
I'm all right. Well, to be honest, I'm not all right. I'm a Manchester United fan, and it's absolutely shite at the moment. But look, you came on our show on Thursday. I said I'd come on, and I'm more than happy to be on. And it wasn't great yesterday.
It was a brilliant day yesterday, Mark. I don't know what you're talking about. I really enjoyed that game yesterday. Do you know what? Before we start, I want to have a little chat about the referee for 1 second and see how you seen the referee yesterday. Because I complained about Premier League referees an awful lot on this show, and I thought Atkinson was okay yesterday. I thought he handled the game quite well.
It's interesting. You know what? I think as a United fan, we are so bad, and I've spoken to this about Marcus on watch-alongs and stuff before. For many years, I've been watching United, and I'll always notice the referee to the extent that I'll always see who the referee's going to be in the week before. This season, I just don't notice referees. I don't. I presume he had a good game, but we're just so bad that we don't even get to talking about whether the referee made a decision that went against us because we're just so bad. But yeah, I can't really think of anything. I mean, obviously there's one or two that you sort of like go, was that a foul? Wasn't it a goal? I mean, the offside goal I found quite interesting for United. Clearly it was offside, but Lukaku didn't touch it. But it's the new rule of interference. I thought Mane did quite a good little shove on him actually.
That was brilliant.
No,
That was
I
so
didn't
brilliant.
notice it. Yeah.
I think if he didn't swing the leg, then maybe there's an argument that he might have got away with it. But I think once he swung the leg, it's class as distracting the keeper. But look, we'll get
Yeah.
straight into the game yesterday, Mark. And I want to start with the 11 that Jose Mourinho picked for Manchester United because I've got to be honest, from my side, when I seen a back three up against our team and the back three that was there, and I know there was a late change by the looks of things. At the start, I thought it was what's the guy's name?
Smalling
Small, yeah,
down.
Chris Smalling. Sorry, I thought it was Chris Smalling, and then they swapped him at the last minute, and they brought in Bailey or Bailey, or I don't know how you pronounce his name. What's your thoughts on the 11 Jose went with?
I just think it's just another idiocy of the manager that we have, really, because Darmian shouldn't even be at the club and he's playing as a centre back in three at the back. Obviously, Luke Shaw wasn't fit, so Delo was on the right. Ashley Young was always going to play because he's been living off the one time he pocketed Salah for the rest of his bloody career, and he's crap. I mean, he was shit yesterday. But we actually benefited from Smalling's injury. I like Smalling, but Bailly, for me, was probably one of our better players. But it just shows the ridiculous nature of our coach at the moment, that Bailly was going to be on the bench and Darmian was going to play, who I just didn't even notice, which I think is bad for a centre-back when you're defending. I noticed Lindelof. I thought Bailly was great. I didn't notice Darmian. I thought it was horrendous to even pick him. In a way, Bailly coming on actually helped us. I thought he was one of our better players, but he wasn't going to be starting, like you say. Smalling was going to play.
For the Liverpool side, the midfield is something that causes quite a bit of argument or conjecture between fans. And when I looked at the team selection yesterday, and I seen he went with Fabinho, he went with Gini Wijnaldum, and he went with Naby Keita, I have to say, Mark, I was nearly dancing around my living room when I seen that. It was the perfect midfield setup. What was your reaction to the 11 that Liverpool went with?
To be honest with you, look, Keita and Fabinho, and cut in if I'm wrong, because I don't watch Liverpool every week by any means, but when you sign those two players, Mourinho has said, well, it's the same as what we've done with Fred. You know, they're not playing for them and he's not playing for us. But my understanding is that you're top of the league for one. You got to a Champions League final with Wijnaldum, Henderson and Milner. And I think, I don't know whether I'm right or wrong, but Klopp's approach has been, yeah, you're good signings, but you're going to have to wait your turn because I'm not upsetting players that have been very consistent for us. And obviously that opportunity came yesterday. I'm a massive fan of Fabinho. I got ripped apart by Liverpool fans in the summer because you signed him and I'd done videos saying I wanted him. But I've never hidden from that. I like him. I think he's quick, he's tenacious, he's good on the ball. And he ran that midfield yesterday. And I wanted him the year before you signed him. I wanted him instead of Matic. So, I mean, most teams can dominate Manchester United's midfield. So it's not like, I'd like to see them. It's horrible to say as a United fan, but I'd like to see how Fabinho starts doing consistently against better teams because our midfield is crap. But yeah, I mean, look, I would like to have signed Fabinho.
You're spot on what you say about Klopp waiting to bet players in. We've seen it with Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, we've seen it with Andy Robertson, and of course we've seen it now with Naby Keita and to an even more of an extent Fabinho. Look, the game started very quick from a Liverpool perspective. I said to you when I was on your show, I hope that we started with the same intensity that we did against Napoli, and we certainly did. Even I think Mourinho said the first 20 minutes Liverpool came out flying, and I was praying for an early goal, and when we got it on 24, I have to say I thought that was it. I thought the floodgates were going to open. Mark, how did you see the first 25 minutes?
The thing I'd said is, and I think we'd spoken about it as well, is that, again, I'm only going to be honest because we are in an absolute terrible state as a club at the moment. The reality is Liverpool are streets ahead of Manchester United. They're a better footballing team, and that's why they are in the league, and that's where we are. But the one thing I thought we could do yesterday, like any team, any team, if you get the Accrington Stanley in the FA Cup, they could come to Anfield, fight you, and put 100% effort in. But what I saw in that first 20 minutes is, well, yeah, Liverpool the better team. They wanted it more as well, and that was the disappointing thing for me. I thought Liverpool absolutely dominated United ability-wise, but also the effort levels, like you say, in the first 20 minutes. And I agree. I thought when you went 1-0 up, I never thought we were going to get smashed because Mourinho never gets smashed. But I thought, how do you get back into that game? And obviously, we know how we got in. It was Alisson with a bit of a clanger.
Yeah, it was an absolute clanger. There's no two ways about that. There's no hiding from it. It's the second one he's made for us, and we love him, and he's probably going to win us more points this season than he'll lose us. But it's easy for us to talk about the clanger, and it is. But I wanted to see, was there anything in the build-up to that goal, from your perspective, from a United perspective, that you thought went well, or that you were happy with seeing? It's easy for us to just say, drop the ball. Lingard was at the right place at the right time, and he did his job. But the build-up play, anything around it? I'm trying to pull positives out here for you, pal.
Well, Mourinho will say that Lukaku had a good game. I'd love to get what your opinion on Lukaku is in a minute. But the cross came, he said Lukaku set a goal up. Now, for me, that was probably one of the world's worst ever crosses because he's got time to look up and put a cross in. And he basically passes it to the keeper who, because of the angle he's coming down with and he's wet, it slips out. I mean, De Gea did the same against Arsenal in a wet game a couple of weeks ago. He's still the best goalkeeper in the world for me. And I'm sure Alisson's still the best goalkeeper in the world for you. So They make mistakes, but look, that was a crap cross that Alisson just lost control of the ball, and Lingard was in the right place at the right time. There was nothing about that goal that I thought was, spectacular. It was a fortuitous goal, and for me, that's where United in the second half, going in at 1-1 when they don't deserve to be, should have come out with a better plan than what they did. But I'm sure we'll speak about that in a minute.
Yeah, going in at half time. Well, actually, on the goal, it was one of those goals to concede. It was kind of like the one that Roma scored against us in the Champions League, where it went in. It was either off Milner's head. I think it went in off Milner's head against Roma. It was one of those where I was waiting for a flag because it seemed so surreal and so stupid that you didn't think that your team would actually concede it. But to go in at half time, I want to get your thoughts on the substitution. So Dalot comes off, Fellaini comes on. Did that for you perhaps signal some attacking intent from your manager, or you went to a back four, I think, from a back 5 or 3, whichever way you want to look at it, in the second half? Did you think when Fellaini came on he was going to start lumping balls up, or you'll show some attacking intent?
I think it was the Stoke 2009 tactic, which Manchester United have recently been renamed as by me. We are basically just a rich Stoke 2009, and as soon as I saw Fellaini, I knew that he's brought him on for De Gea to hit long balls for, and that's what we tried to do. It's, I wouldn't say I wanted to lose because I'd never want to lose to Liverpool, but I knew what was coming. I know we're not good enough to defend a 1-1 game anymore because we haven't got Rui Faria, and I thought if we hang in around long enough and maybe we get a foul in your half and we whack it up in the air and it skims off someone's head, we might nab a goal, but. That was the end of the game for me, and to basically park the bus when you've got back in the game for 45 minutes and hope. I'm tired of it really, and I think a lot of United fans are. And look, I know both your goals were a little bit fortuitous, but as I said, if you have over 30 shots on goal, you can't scream look. If you keep shooting at the goal, the nature of the game is one of those shots is going to flick up off somebody. And I think we got what we deserved in the second half. It was ultra negative. It was long ball. And you just can't do that in the modern game.
Yeah, from our perspective, look, we hoped when we went out at 1-1 that we were going to up the pressure at half time. I seen one shot somebody sent to me on Twitter where I think it was just as Shaqiri struck his left-footed goal, there was 11 Manchester United players in your box, 11 of them, and actually inside the box, not even a defensive area. That screams submission almost to me, Mark. What do you think of that?
I agree. I mean, the funny thing is that Jose Mourinho after the game came out with his usual bullshit and said that it was a shame that Liverpool scored when they did because we were finally going to get them where we wanted to and go on and win the game. And I was just like, what is he on? What is he on? The there was one team trying to win the game yesterday. I have watched a few Liverpool games recently. I did watch the Everton game, and without question, Everton were a much better team than we were. They created chances. Obviously, still won the game, and I hoped we would have got a draw yesterday. But I did expect us to lose. But to lose in that manner is just it's embarrassing. Like you say, it's the white flag. It's hope. There's no real. That's not Manchester United. And the brilliant thing is listening to Keane and Neville, and then listening to Souness and Carragher. The two people who made the most sense were Carragher and Souness, who were basically saying, "Get rid of your manager. That's not Manchester United." Then you got United legends going, "Well, it's not his fault." I just thought, actually, very refreshing views from Liverpool fans. I know they want us to go through it, but they can actually see what most United fans can see. It's just unacceptable. And I don't know whether you ever went through that as Liverpool fans, because I know you've not won the league yet in the Premier League, but I don't think you ever really played. Maybe Hodgson, but you never really played.
Definitely Hodgson. I've almost tried to block Hodgson out of my mind. I remember being on holidays and playing Northampton in the FA Cup, and I just walked out. I couldn't watch it anymore. It was just terrible. So yeah. I get where you're coming from. I would like to say I have sympathy, but if I'm being honest, I said to you on your show, football is cyclical, and you had your period. We had ours in the 70s and 80s. United had theirs, and look, we'll probably come again. You'll probably come again. But before I let you go, just a couple of quick things, Mark, on the managerial situation with Jose Mourinho. I said to you before we started, I didn't know if I'd actually get you on today, because I half expected for Mourinho to be sacked. And then, of course, if he gets sacked, then you're going to be a busy man for the next couple of days. So what are your thoughts? What do you think should happen? Is it the board's fault? Is it the manager's fault? Or is it a mix of the two?
It's gone beyond the manager. The manager should have been sacked weeks ago. For me, he's trying to get the sack. He knows he's going to get 20 odd million quid. Some of the stuff he comes out with, even after the game yesterday, it's just bordering on the ridiculous. I think he wants the sack. I think he wants out. I don't think the board want to sack him because they don't want to spend the money. And the victims are the fans. I didn't logically expect him to be sacked today. He should be sacked. I'm sure your club would have sacked a manager for the similar sort of thing. Chelsea would, City would. I hoped a little bit today that it would happen, but the reality is I never expected it to. I think he's going to be here for a while, and I just feel sorry for the fans. The fans are the people who, we spend money to support our club. Everybody else involved is paid for it. The manager's paid, the players are paid, the board take their share, and the people who are suffering are the people who actually love the club. And I don't see an end in sight. And it's a very hard time at the moment, because you don't get excited about Cardiff at the weekend, because we might win, but as soon as we come up against a decent team, we'll get beat again.
It's one of the few industries, isn't it, that you can continuously fail and be rewarded with another job, a big payout. I fail to think of any other industry in the world that you can keep going on this little merry-go-round of managers. I even heard Florentino Perez in the summer say that he wouldn't mind working with Jose Mourinho again. It's like when he leaves the club, he has this little red ray that just wipes people's minds, and they just forget how bad it was. When you get Mourinho, you get a 3-year period.
Well, maybe we made that mistake, really, because if you look at the Chelsea thing, that sacking from Chelsea, which happened today in 2005, all right, they were champions, but he moaned between August and December about not being backed in the summer. The team was just plummeting. He lost the players. The football was bad. It's exactly the same situation. And United just keep doing this. We don't look at the recent history of things that we're doing. Mourinho, the red flags were there. I fell into the trap. I'll put my hand up. I wanted Mourinho. But Sanchez, if you listen to Arsenal fans, he was on the decline. Matic, Chelsea fans wanted to get rid of him. United just don't seem to be doing their homework. And as Liverpool fans, as any fans, you've got every right to laugh at us, because we are the architects of our own downfall, like any club is when they're in that situation.
Look, I didn't agree with them bringing in Mourinho. And look, I don't really care, to be honest. Like, obviously, same way you wouldn't care who we appoint, but I understood it, because at the time you needed somebody, a steady hand perhaps, to come in and keep the club on a sure footing. And with Mourinho, you've got that attraction of players with his agent and all that stuff. It opens up markets for you. But at the same time, he never, and I said this to you on your show, he never struck me as a Manchester United kind of manager. He doesn't have the calibre of personality or you can look at Sir Alex Ferguson. He was a shithouse, but he was a shithouse because he loved Manchester United so much. He didn't care if he pissed off the Wales manager, the England manager, whoever it was. He wanted the best for his club. You don't get that from Mourinho. You get looking after number one.
Definitely, and it'd be like, it's only like, you had Hodgson. I think if you brought Conte or Diego Simeone. They're good managers, but their style of football is not going to be what Liverpool fans want. So yeah, look, I wanted Mourinho because he guaranteed a title in the first 2 years, and for me, we needed to reset that clock. But it failed, and that clock's going to go to double figures. I don't think we're going to win the title in the next 2 or 3 years, which puts us to 10 years. So, you should always be looking at somebody who befits the history and the logic of your club, and we've failed 3 times with that now.
Before I let you go, it'd be silly of me not to ask you with the Champions League draw today and what your thoughts are about United getting drawn against Paris Saint-Germain. Look, I said to you before we came on, we had to deal with the shithouse tactics twice this season. You're going to have 180 minutes of Neymar rolling around the floor, players throwing themselves all over the place, screaming at the referee. I'd like to say you're going to enjoy it, but you probably won't.
I think with our defence, Ashley Young, Chris Smalling, Phil Jones, I don't think we'll have any problems against Mbappe, Cavani and Neymar. I think we'll be absolutely fine. But seriously, I watched both those Liverpool games. I thought at Anfield, you got it right. You intimidated them, you got at them, and you beat them. We can't do that at Old Trafford. We're not good enough. And then in Paris, they're a very good team. So we're out as far as I'm concerned. We can hope. But over 2 games against a decent team, you can't scam it twice. So we're out. I don't give us a chance at all. I think the Liverpool Bayern Munich game is, with Dortmund and Spurs, really exciting looking games. And I've got a funny feeling that I think you're gonna. I think I said to you the other night. I think you're gonna have a choice to make, Liverpool. It's going to be the title or the Champions League, and I think I hope you try and do both, because I don't think it's possible. But you may get to a point with that, because I think the Champions League is going to be very hard, but it's wide open. It's just how close you are to City, I think, when February comes, because if you've got a bit of a gap on them, it's like, has he got the squad? But then you bought one in the summer. So it's exciting times for Liverpool, I have to say. But it's shit times for United.
Look, I'll be honest, I don't care about the Champions League. I'm fully focused on the Premier League. It's been too long. As you well know, as you guys reminded us enough times, it's been far too long. Look, Mark, I appreciate you taking time to come on, pal. And also, I appreciate the help yesterday. You know what happened on our channel yesterday. You gave us a bit of a shout out. You gave me some advice behind the scenes as well, mate. So thank you for that one. I know it wouldn't have been easy for you to come on here today and face up to a 3-1 defeat. But you've done it, and thank you for coming on, Mark.
No worries, I've enjoyed it, and anytime it's fine. You've got to take the good with the bad, and thanks for having me on. Cheers,
pleasure.
pal.
Right, I'll let you go, Mark, and I'll talk to you very soon. Take care, mate. Bye bye. Right, guys, that is it. We've had Mr. Goldbridge on. Pleasure to have him on. It's really good of him to pop up after a 3-1 loss. I'm going to head off for a few minutes, but I'll be back with tonight's late night agenda, where we will, of course, discuss the Champions League draw. We'll discuss our little chat with Mr. Goldbridge. We'll discuss everything Liverpool related. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate all your support. Thank you again to Mark from the United Stand for coming on. Don't forget to check out his channel, which of course I know many of you guys know already. But until then, guys, look, I'll see you in about 15 minutes, and up the motherfucking Reds.